Every year, across the tropics, millions upon millions of coconuts are harvested, processed, and transformed into products that end up in homes, restaurants, and supermarkets around the world. This story takes us from the swaying palms of tropical coastlines to bustling processing plants, and finally to the dinner tables and beauty shelves of people everywhere. Before we dive into the fascinating journey of how millions of tons of coconuts are harvested and processed, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. Your support helps us bring more incredible stories like this one to life. Now, let's begin. To truly understand how millions of tons of coconuts are harvested and processed, we first need to look at the tree itself. The coconut palm is sometimes called the tree of life, and for good reason. It thrives in hot, humid coastal climates where many other crops would struggle. From India and Indonesia to the Philippines, Sri Lanka, Thailand, and Vietnam, vast plantations of coconut palms stretch along beaches, hillsides, and islands. Even in places like Hawaii, southern Florida, and parts of Africa and the Caribbean, the coconut palm grows tall and resilient, capable of producing fruit year after year. Each mature tree can bear between 30 and 60 coconuts annually, and with millions of trees spread across dozens of countries, the global harvest adds up quickly. In fact, more than 60 million metric tons of coconuts are produced every year worldwide, making it one of the most significant tropical crops on Earth. Harvesting coconuts, however, is far from easy. Unlike fruits that grow on low shrubs or manageable trees, coconuts grow at the very top of towering palms, sometimes 30 meters high. Traditionally, farmers scale these trees with nothing more than a rope tied around their feet or waist, gripping the trunk with incredible agility and strength. In places like Kerala in India or Quezon Province in the Philippines, generations of farmers have mastered this dangerous skill, climbing trees daily to cut down ripe coconuts with a sharp blade. The sight is both impressive and humbling. A man balanced against the sky, swinging his machete to release clusters of coconuts that thud heavily to the ground. In other regions, especially where farms are larger and labor is scarce, long poles with knives attached at the end are used to cut coconuts from below. Increasingly, modern plantations are experimenting with mechanical lifters, drones, and even trained animals like monkeys in Thailand, though this practice has drawn controversy and is being phased out in many places. Once harvested, coconuts are collected in piles at the base of the trees. The green, young coconuts destined for drinking water are often kept separate from the mature, brown coconuts that will be processed for oil, copra, and other products. Farmers load them into baskets, sacks, or directly onto carts. In rural areas, this transport may be done by oxen or buffalo pulling wooden wagons. In coastal regions, small boats ferry coconuts from island plantations to mainland markets. In more industrialized settings, trucks haul massive loads to central collection points or directly to processing plants. The sheer volume is staggering. Hundreds of thousands of coconuts can move through a single port or processing hub in a week, creating a rhythm of supply that powers entire economies. The first step of processing begins with dehusking, the removal of the thick, fibrous husk that surrounds the hard shell of the coconut. Traditionally, this is done by impaling the coconut on a sharp metal spike fixed into the ground, then twisting it forcefully until the husk peels away. Skilled workers can husk hundreds of coconuts in a day using this simple but effective method. In factories, machines now automate this process, feeding coconuts through rollers and blades that strip the husk in seconds. The husk itself is not wasted. It contains valuable coir fibers that are later processed into ropes, mats, brushes, mattresses, and even eco-friendly planting materials used in horticulture. This is one of the secrets of the coconut industry. Almost every part of the fruit, from husk to shell to flesh, has a use. After dehusking comes cracking, where the hard brown shell is split open to reveal the white flesh inside. In smaller farms, this may be done by hand with a heavy knife or mallet. In larger plants, automated cracking machines use pressure and precision to split thousands of coconuts per hour. When the shell is opened, two valuable products emerge: coconut water and coconut meat. Young coconuts, harvested while still green, are prized for their refreshing water, which has become a billion-dollar health drink industry in recent years. But for processing purposes, mature coconuts are usually the target, as their thicker, oil-rich flesh provides the basis for numerous products. The white flesh of the coconut, also called the kernel or copra when dried, is the centerpiece of the processing industry. To produce copra, the flesh is cut out of the shell, shredded or sliced, and then dried, either in the sun, in smokehouses, or in industrial kilns. This drying process reduces moisture content, preventing spoilage and preparing the material for pressing. Once dry, the copra is pressed to extract coconut oil, which has countless applications. Coconut oil is used in cooking, baking, frying, and as a dairy alternative. It is also a major ingredient in soaps, shampoos, lotions, and cosmetics, praised for its moisturizing and antibacterial properties. Industrially, coconut oil even finds its way into biodiesel and lubricants. Every ton of copra can yield hundreds of liters of valuable oil, making this a cornerstone of the global coconut trade. Meanwhile, not all coconut flesh is destined to become copra. Some is shredded fresh and dried to produce desiccated coconut, the flaky ingredient used in baking, confectionery, and cereals. Other portions are processed into coconut milk and cream, staples of Southeast Asian and Caribbean cooking, where rich, creamy curries and desserts owe their flavor to this unique fruit. Increasingly, companies are also producing coconut flour, a gluten-free alternative made from dried and ground coconut meat, popular in health food markets. The versatility of the flesh alone demonstrates why coconuts are treasured worldwide. The processing chain does not stop there. Coconut shells, once discarded, have become valuable resources in their own right. Burned under controlled conditions, they produce activated carbon, which is widely used in water purification systems, air filters, and even medical treatments to absorb toxins. The shells are also carved into handicrafts, bowls, jewelry, and decorative items, turning what was once waste into art and livelihood. In rural communities, coconut shells often serve as fuel for cooking fires, a reminder of how nothing goes unused in the coconut's life cycle. Coconut water, extracted either from young green coconuts or recovered during processing, has exploded in global popularity. Marketed as a natural sports drink, rich in electrolytes and low in calories, it has become a multi-billion-dollar export product. Major beverage companies now bottle, pasteurize, and ship coconut water worldwide, from New York to London to Tokyo, giving consumers a taste of the tropics in every sip. This new demand has transformed how coconuts are valued, with young drinking coconuts fetching higher prices in many markets than mature ones used for copra. Yet challenges also exist. Coconut trees take years to mature, and many plantations around the world are aging, with declining yields. And that's the incredible journey of how millions of tons of coconuts are harvested and processed every year. If you enjoyed learning about the hidden stories behind the foods and products we use every day, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell. We have many more fascinating documentaries coming your way, and we'd love for you to join us on the next adventure. Thank you for watching. Each summer, millions of tons of sweet, juicy peaches are harvested across the globe, especially in the United States, China, Italy, and Spain. But how exactly do these fuzzy fruits make their way from blooming orchards to supermarket shelves or canned goods? From blossom to box, this is the incredible journey of peach farming and processing. It all begins in early spring when peach trees wake from their winter dormancy. These trees, pruned to control their shape and ensure high productivity, start producing bright pink and white blossoms. Pollination is critical at this stage. While bees play the lead role, some farms also use artificial pollination techniques to boost yield. Once pollinated, the flowers drop their petals, and tiny green peaches begin to grow. Over the next few months, these fruits develop size, sweetness, and color. Farmers monitor temperature, soil moisture, and leaf health using precision agriculture tools, sometimes drones or satellite data, to ensure optimal growth. In regions like Georgia, South Carolina, and California, the US's peach powerhouses, the ideal climate of hot days and cool nights makes for intensely flavored fruit. Peach harvest usually begins in late spring and peaks in midsummer. But this isn't a one-and-done process. Peaches on a single tree ripen at different rates, so picking is done in several passes. Each peach must be picked by hand, gently, carefully, because the fruit bruises easily. Skilled workers walk row by row, cradling the fruit, checking its color and firmness, and placing it into padded bags. On large farms, hydraulic platforms help pickers reach tall trees, while conveyors transport the fruit to field trucks. Timing is everything. A peach that's too green won't ripen properly after harvest. Too ripe, it may turn mushy by the time it reaches the store. Once picked, the peaches are taken to on-site packing facilities within hours to preserve freshness. At the packing house, the peaches begin their next journey. First, they are poured gently onto conveyor belts. Large fans and air blowers remove loose leaves and debris. Next comes washing, using soft water sprays and mild detergents to clean the fruit's skin without damaging its delicate fuzz. After drying, each peach is graded. Cameras and sensors assess size, shape, color, and any surface blemishes. Advanced computer vision systems even use infrared imaging to check internal firmness and sugar content. The fruit is sorted into categories: premium fresh market peaches, lower grade peaches for juice or puree, and damaged fruit for compost or animal feed. Some packing houses even use robotic arms to gently place top-grade peaches into protective trays, keeping the skin untouched by human hands after cleaning. Fresh market peaches are packed with care to minimize bruising and extend shelf life. Depending on the destination, peaches may be packed in foam trays, molded pulp cups, or flow-wrapped in breathable plastic. Each box is labeled with orchard code, harvest date, grade, and often the variety, like Yellow Cling, Red Haven, or Alberta. Before shipment, the fruit is quickly cooled to remove field heat, a process called hydrocooling or forced air cooling. This slows ripening and prevents decay. Peaches destined for export are stored in controlled atmosphere cold rooms, which regulate oxygen and CO2 to delay over-ripening. From there, trucks and refrigerated containers distribute them to supermarkets, farmers markets, or restaurants across the country and beyond. Not all peaches are sold fresh. Millions of pounds are processed into canned goods, juices, jams, or frozen slices. At industrial plants, freshly harvested peaches are dumped into large water tanks called flumes, which gently move them through the system. Next comes blanching, briefly exposing the peaches to hot water or steam. This loosens the skins, which are then removed by brushes or peelers. After peeling, peaches are halved and pitted by high-speed machines that use blades or spinning cups. Workers inspect each half for leftover pits, bruises, or signs of disease. Once sorted, the peach halves are packed into cans or jars, then filled with syrup, juice, or water. Sealing machines cap the containers, and thermal processing, also called retort cooking, heats the cans to kill bacteria and ensure shelf stability. After cooling, labels are added and the cans are boxed for global distribution. Processed peaches can last over a year without refrigeration and are a staple in households, bakeries, and restaurants worldwide. Some peaches are destined for freezer bags or dried fruit snacks. For freezing, the fruit is cleaned, peeled, sliced, and dipped in a solution of ascorbic acid to prevent browning. Flash freezing locks in flavor and nutrition. The slices are packed into plastic bags or containers and kept at -18 degrees or below. For drying, peach slices are placed on large mesh trays inside dehydration tunnels. Hot, dry air removes moisture over 12 to 20 hours. Once dried, the peaches are chewy, concentrated in flavor, and often dusted with sugar or preservatives. They're packed into resealable pouches and distributed as healthy snacks, baking ingredients, or breakfast toppings. Peach farming also produces large amounts of waste: pits, peels, trimmings. But today, nearly everything is reused. Peach pits are crushed for use as biomass fuel or ground into abrasive materials for scrubbing products. Some companies extract peach kernel oil, a valuable ingredient in cosmetics due to its high vitamin E content. Peels and pulp go into compost, animal feed, or biogas digesters. In many regions, peach farms now use drip irrigation, solar power, and natural pest control to lower their environmental footprint. Cover crops and mulching help improve soil health, while AI-driven water sensors optimize resource use. It's not just about volume anymore, it's about growing smarter. Peaches aren't all the same. In fact, there are over 2,000 varieties globally. They fall into two main categories: clingstone and freestone. Clingstones, where the flesh sticks to the pit, are juicier and ideal for canning. Freestones, where the pit separates easily, are preferred for fresh eating. Flavor varies by variety, growing region, and even the time of harvest. Some peaches are ultra-sweet and low in acidity. Others are more tart with a firm bite, perfect for grilling or baking. White peaches, with their pale flesh and floral aroma, are popular in Asia and gourmet markets. Each variety offers a unique taste of the land where it grew, sun, soil, and the hands that nurtured it. China is the world's largest peach producer, followed by Italy, Spain, and the United States. In the US, Georgia may be nicknamed the Peach State, but California grows over 70% of the country's peaches, thanks to its vast Central Valley. Italy's Emilia-Romagna region and Spain's Aragon area also cultivate massive quantities for the European market. In Japan, peaches are treated like precious gems, individually wrapped, gifted on special occasions, and sometimes selling for $10 or more per fruit. Meanwhile, small family farms around the world continue to grow heirloom varieties using traditional methods, often selling directly to local customers. Whether industrial or artisanal, peach farming is deeply rooted in culture, community, and cuisine. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into peach farming and processing, don't forget to like, subscribe, and explore more fascinating journeys from farm to table. In the time it takes you to watch this sentence, over 2,000 bottles of apple juice have already been filled, capped, and labeled somewhere in the world. But how do fresh apples, muddy, irregular, sometimes bruised, get turned into this? A clear, sweet, shelf-stable drink you can grab at any store, anytime? Today, we're taking you inside one of the most advanced apple juice factories in the world to see how millions of apples are transformed into the golden liquid millions of people drink every day. If you enjoy discovering how everyday things are made with high-tech precision, don't forget to subscribe to Top Discovery 4K. New videos every week, straight from the factory floor. Now let's begin the journey of apple juice, from farm to factory. Our journey begins not in a lab or a factory, but in the open air of an apple orchard. Here, thousands of trees stretch across rolling hills, their branches heavy with fruit. Depending on the region and the season, apples are harvested anywhere between late summer and early autumn. But these aren't the shiny, perfect apples meant for grocery store displays. In fact, most of the apples used in juice production are what the industry calls grade B, or processing apples. They may be slightly bruised, misshapen, or have surface blemishes, but they're still rich in juice, flavor, and natural sugars. And that's all that matters. The harvesting can happen in two ways. For small farms, apples are still picked by hand, gently twisted off the stems to avoid bruising. But in large-scale commercial orchards, mechanical harvesters take over. These machines shake the tree trunks, causing ripe apples to fall onto padded collection mats or conveyor belts below. Once harvested, the apples are placed into large plastic crates, often holding up to 900 kilograms of fruit each. They're then loaded onto flatbed trucks and sent directly to the processing plant.